The next morning was calm and grey, like many dull mornings in England. A serene space fell on me, keeping me in a state of profound peace. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced, the taste of everlasting ecstasy. The night before was very vivid, and an intoxicating perfume filled the room. I went over the incident again and again in my mind, still unable to take it in. My mind was blank and refused to do any thinking or analysis. A sea of bliss engulfed me. I was deeply moved by the experience. I slowly walked to college, almost floating as if in a dream. The world looked so different this morning. The autumn colors, the beauty of the park was mesmerizing. It was as if I was seeing trees and plants for the first time, and it was my first day on the planet. People walked past me with darkness around them. They seemed weighed down with cares and worries and were sleepwalking their way to work. How vulnerable and lost they appeared. I was touched by everything I saw. During the morning break, I told my closest friend of what had happened the night before. An awkward silence fell between us, an uneasy tension. The atmosphere was immediately cold and uncomfortable. All the years of friendship and trust seemed to evaporate in this one conversation. "Look behind you," she said, confused and fearful. The shelves in the library were rocking back and forth, and books were falling. It was as if the bookshelves were going to fall on top of me. We picked up our bags and ran outside as fast as we could. Shaken and now very scared, I went home for safety. As I entered my room, a dark chill ran through me. Why was it so cold in here? I turned the heater on high. There was something not quite right in my room, something very wrong in fact, dark and dangerous. Still uncertain, I saw almost out of view from the corner of my eye a black shadow dance by. I was immediately in a state of fear. This was not my imagination. I turned quickly, but it had disappeared. The room grew even colder, and an artificial darkness descended. I was swimming in a room of shifting walls. The furniture was softly shaking, as if in a small earthquake. I jumped onto my bed and got beneath the covers. The heater fell over by itself. My bed began to vibrate in violence. Too frightened to speak, I watched in unmatched horror as a man appeared out of nowhere and came and sat beside me. I felt as if I'd known him longer than time itself. He just looked at me. A familiarity appeared to bind us to each other. He then smiled at me very gently, a very kind smile. I was instantly taken in and could not look away. He was the most handsome man I'd ever seen. "It's good to see you. It's been a long time." I could not reply. What was he talking about? Who was he? How did he know me so well? As if reading my thoughts, he continued, "Can't you remember? Have you forgotten who I am?" He pretended to be offended at this. "Let me help you," he added. I watched in amazement as his face and body transformed instantly before my eyes. He took on the appearance of a demon, a long-tailed fiend, a character of the devil with horns and scarlet eyes and a pitchfork. "Oh my God!" I screamed. "Not quite, but close," he said. He then disappeared. Immediately after his leaving, my body began convulsing in a new, unknown pain. Within minutes, it was beyond endurance. It was an agony and a fear so intense that in no way could I describe its impact accurately. Crawling to the bathroom, I began vomiting. My body was wet, warm sweat. In a dark swoon, I fainted and fell to the floor. It was cold against my face. How long did I lie there? I couldn't tell. My heart was racing, my mind blank. What was happening? What was all this? I had no idea. It was beyond comprehension. Within a day, my world had been turned over. Powerlessness and desperation dragged me into despair. Trapped in a trance, terrified and petrified, victim to vague voices and visions. I knew no one could help me now. I was in big trouble, with no way out.